What is this? Exception handling. So generally, what do you mean by exception handling? If any error during processing, we need to handle it. Handle it to what? To do some logging, display generic UI, etc. Like this. Anything else you want to do, you can do. You can send email or something like that. Okay. So like this, you can go ahead and do exception. This is the purpose of exception. Whenever you are going to do exception handling in Pega, there are different places where you can do exception handling. Okay. Exception handling we can do. Okay, let me write down here. In the meantime, server comes up. Exception handling can be done using activity at jump step. At jump in a step end. At step end. At step end, you have jump right, which you can use to do the exception handling. We have done this kind of exception handling before. When we are doing obj open, step status fail, then we have done something. Okay. And for connectors, we can do exception handling. For connectors means connect SOAP, connect REST, connect SQL, like this. In all these, we can do exception handling two ways. One is connection problem flow, and other way is activity at jump. We will call all this from activity, right? We can call. The other one is at the data page. So the third one is like data page. Data page means in a data page we can do exception handling. How would you do exception handling in data pages? Like we have post processing activity, not pre-processing. Post processing activity we can do exception handling. That is post processing or some technical name is there. I will tell you that. Other than this, we can do exception handling for services using false tab. Using false tab in services, we can do exception handling. All these ways we can do exception handling in Pega. Just let me save this document. $561 now. And the just we're going to understand now. Understanding exception handling and logging. Just a basic idea about this. Let's create an error situation, but every error situation for every step in activity you cannot identify. Wherever it is possible, you identify and do the exception handling. In future, while you get errors, you need to implement it again using change requests and all. But on one single go during the development itself, everyone cannot understand and identify the exception. But there are possible situations. OBJ open, OB commit may fail. Like this, you can do implement exception handling. Commit exception handling is already done, right? Commit rollback, commit files rollback, unlock. All that is exception handling. That is already PRPC provides. Now, just let me create an activity for this purpose. Let me log into PRPC. Where is this login? Here you go. Oh, it's not opening.
This conference will now be recorded.
So here you go. Just for example, I'm going to create an activity. So something I'm going to create. Give some name. Any name you can go ahead and give. So here you go with. So let me write an activity. Let's say page one something. I am not required to define page. Okay, just simply I'm going to do property set. One of the property what we have. Do you have any property like age? Age property. Let's say intentionally I'm going to give it is 10 divided by okay, 50 divided by 0. It's an exception situation. Okay. So you can write something like this, and here you go with. So jump. When you're going to jump, step status will definitely fail, right? Step status fails. On exception, you can jump to let a step label, some labeled step. I'm going to give a label of exception label. On exception, any exception happens, I'm going to jump to a labeled step. Okay. Submit this. And in order to understand whether it is jumping or not, I'm going to add something like one more property set. And here, our customer details dot first name I'm setting to some value. Okay, and now I'm writing a labeled step. What I have given, exe I have given, right? This is the labeled step where I'm going to do log messages. I want to log some message. The message what you are going to log can be a hard-coded message. It can be referenced with a property. Okay, I am writing a hard-coded message. There is divide by 0. This is just a simple example in order to understand how we can do logging. So log level also you have to give info first, because we are going to write into log files on our own. The log level you need to remember always. This is info first. I'll talk about log levels and all in some time. Okay, like this you have to go ahead and if an exception happens here, occurs here at what is that step 1, it has to jump to exe and log the message. If nothing happens, it will proceed in the regular path. Okay, so save this. I'll make sure that I'll be calling in a transaction. That is, I'm going to make it like a utility as of now. Activity type is equal to utility. Save this and then check this. Create a test flow, comma, call this activity and trace it and trace it. So let me create a test flow. Which flow shape I need here? What is that? Some activity which I have called, which I have created. Okay, fine. My workflow is ready now. I can run this flow and test it. Run this flow. Run the flow and trace it. I'll open the tracer and make sure in the tracer you have activity being selected. Where is it? Activity selected. DB query is not required. Interaction is also not required. Remaining things are not required. I need only my rule sets. Only one specific rule set in which you have created it. If you select, that is fair enough. Clear this, and here you go. Actions, and run this. Your activity would have been executed in the background, right? So when an activity executes, how many steps executed here? Step 1, step 2 executed. Step 2 has not been executed because step 2 will get executed only if previous step will not fail. Now at that step 3 we did a log message. So at step 2, because it is failed, an exception happened, it has jumped to the third step. How it has jumped? Recognizing what? Recognizing the label. Jump, you jump 8 on exception, jump to label step completed. So at the label step I am doing logging. Log message, I am writing something. So during the troubleshooting, log messages will be helpful. See, this log message method is going to write some details, whatever that you provide here, into PRPC log files called Pega rules logs. Into Pega rules logs. To access the log files, now go to log files and see the details. You can write more details about where it is failing, what rule it is failing, and all. So here you go, Designer Studio. What is it? System operations logs. You close this. Log files. Click on log files. Log level settings and all. I'll tell you the other tomorrow, maybe Monday. So here you go. And here you need to click on Pega rules logs. There are different logs. Click on Pega rules logs. See, we have Pega rules logs, alert logs, security related issues, security logs. BIX means Business Intelligence Exchange. That is a reporting ETL tool for Pega. You need to install BIX and then generate the DDLs to extract, transform, and load the data. So always general logging will be into Pega logs. So alert means you will be having some this one. What is that? Queries, database queries running, and any exceptions related to queries. Everything will go into alert logs. If you want to see database queries and all, go to alert logs. Normal logging will be there in log files. You go to Pega logs, click on Pega logs, and here you should see the information that you have logged just now. Hey, what is that? I have logged. Sorry? Yeah, something like divided by 0. No? I'm sorry, this is error log. Huh? This is alert log. I'm sorry. Pega logs. Pega logs. So this is the information which I've written just for your information. This is like this. Any exceptional situation, you can go ahead and implement logging by using this log message method. So with this, you have got an idea about what is log message method and how you can do exception handling in activity. The same way, exception handling in database, right? In database. Look at here. If you open a data page, Any data page. In a data page, you have a facility to call an activity at the post-load processing. Post-load processing, you can call an activity. So in this activity, can I implement exception handling at jump? But on what page it will be identified? On what page? Suppose data page failed, some reason. There are some error messages. On which page you will see that errors and all? Where it should be available? Sorry, primary page. It is primary page. So your exception handling should proceed on a step page called primary page. If you not mention any page, no problem, it will take primary page only. So similarly, this is similar to activity only. But in case of data page, if you want to implement exception handling directly on data page source rules and all, it is not possible. Report definition, data page related activity, if you are going to do, suppose data page is being sourced from an activity, some other activity. In that activity, can I do exception handling? That is during the execution of source, if any exception, that is different. After data page is loaded completely, you can execute post-load processing activity, and there you can do exception handling again. That is also this is the main exception handling. After data page is completely available on the clipboard, this will run. If you are populating data page using an activity, let's say as a source rule, that is during the loading of data page. I'm not looking for during load. After load is completed, if you want to find out the exceptions, then during the load, if you want to find the exceptions, then that is in the activity. But after the load is completed, if you want to perform exception handling, it can be done by using post-load processing activity. Page has errors. This function is there. Page has errors. Which page you need to pass? Primary page. If the primary page has errors, means there is an exception happened. You can accordingly do logging and all. Okay. So like this, you can go ahead and do exception handling in case of data pages. This is just pretty straightforward and easy to implement exception handling at activities. Similarly, suppose look at here in the activity, if you want to call connect soap, what is the method? Connect soap. See, if you're going to use any of the connector method, you will call the connect soap rules and all. And here also you can do exception handling, right? On exception, jump to latest step label, some label step, and you do log messages and all. That is fine. But this exception handling will be taken care after the connect soap is completed or not? Is it during processing or after completed? It is after completed. Complete execution of connect soap is done. Data is received. Some exception happened. You will get the error messages on the page, and it will jump to label step. There you log messages. This is using an activity for connectors. It can be any connector, not only connect soap, connect Java, connect MQ, connect REST, like this. Indeed. While making a connection, if you are facing any issue, means that cannot be handled here. Okay, that is some other place I'll tell you. Now look at here. Other than this, okay, suppose, do we have any connect so far? Let me open one of the connect soap rule which we have. Some connect soap, any connect soap, it doesn't matter what it is. Now, in the connector rule, every connector rule, it is not only connect soap, we have connect SQL. In which class we have connect SQL? So in connect soap, you can see, scroll down. Here you can see error handling. There is a section for error handling. Here there is a flow called. What is the flow name? Connection problem. There is an OTP flow called connection problem, which is already available. Flow connection problem. Okay. Now go to connect SQL rule. You have error tab. Under flow is there. Click the down arrow. Connection problem. You can call connection problem flow. This is also for the purpose of exception handling. How the exception handling will be performed here? Let me explain you. See, connection problem flow is an OTP flow. In case of connectors on connector rule itself. I will be uploading this video, so I'm not going to note down. Okay, I'll be uploading this video. Why it is loading, taking a long time. So look at here. This is connection problem flow. See, whenever an exception occurs, connection problem flow will get auto executed. If you call it in the error handling section of connect SQL rule or any connector rule, it will be available to call. See, the design of connection problem flow can be modified by yourself. You can add one utility shape here and you can do log messages and all on your own. But PRPC internally has all the things. If you want to do more about it on your own, you can call a utility, activity, log message, logging will be done, additional logging. See, by default, how connection problem flow works is, if a connection fails, connection problem flow will get automatically executed. Connection fail means you're trying to make a connection, there's a timeout or resource not available, 300, 400, 500 internal server error, any exception that happens, connection 404 exception like this, connection problem flow will get automatically executed if you call it. Now, connection problem flow is going to see resource is available or not. Let's say resource is not available. Resource is not available means your case will be transferred to a work basket. There is an assignment, right? What is the work basket here? This work basket name, we call it as incomplete connections. There is a work basket called incomplete connections. What you can do, you can give this incomplete connection work basket access to some operators. They will take care of executing these tasks manually if required. Okay, now see, if a connection fails, any exception happens, work orbit will be moved to work basket called incomplete connections. Like if a connection fails, I'm sorry. Now connection fail means resource might not be available or some reason, right? Can we implement auto reconnect again? We need to implement auto reconnect. Okay, so what happens here is, in this connect, what is this? Incomplete connections assignment. This assignment is applied with one, what is that? SLA, service level agreement. You can see here, scroll down. There is an SLA called. SLA will have time intervals. So now this SLA rule will have time intervals of 30 seconds for goal time, 30 seconds, 2 minutes for deadline, and 3 minutes for pass, 10 minutes for pass deadline. Means at 30 seconds, if 30 seconds is breached, it will perform an escalation. 2 minutes, it will perform another escalation, and after 10 minutes, 3 times repeated interval, it will perform escalation 3 times for pass deadline. So when this case is moved to incomplete connections work basket, reaching this assignment, if no one is touching this work orbit from that work basket, it will perform escalations accordingly at 30 minutes, 2 minutes, and 10 minutes 3 times. What is there in the escalation? It is calling an activity. What is there in the activity is, it executes an activity called retry connection. Retry connection. So retry connection activity, what it is going to do? It will retry the connection again. Like that, it will try for 5 times. Can we modify this SLA? We can modify this to a number of times. We can change the time intervals also. If you want to modify, you can modify and call it. So this is auto retry feature by default provided by Pega. This is how PRPC is going to do exceptionally. 5 times is completed. Nothing is happening. What you have to do is, you will log in, right? As an operator, when you log in, you have access to incomplete connection work basket. You go there. You can perform 2 actions, either of 2 actions. What is the one of the action is resume problem, another action is cancel assignment. Resume problem has 55% of likelihood, this one has 45%. Means by default, this flow action will be executed and displayed in UI. When you open the assignment, this is the flow action you'll see with a submit button. When you click on submit button here, what it is doing, restart problem flow. Means what happens? It will again execute start from here, it will come here again, and it will retry 5 times. Like that till the connection is established. If you say cancel assignment, what happens? It will cancel the current assignment. The work orbit will be proceeded to further processing in your actual workflow. Okay, like this, without making that connection, you have to manually fix it. Like this, your connection problem flow, PRPC provides for auto retry process. SLA is an agent processing or not? SLA is what kind of agent it is? Standard or advanced? SLA, does it have any queue? What is the queue table for SLAs? I have given it in the document also. PRSysQ SLA. Queue table is there, that means it is a standard or advanced agent. standard agent means your work on with data along with connection details and all, everything will be passed here. That's how it can retry the connections using the existing URL that are being processed through case process. Everything the standard agent will receive and execute it. Like this, your connection problem flow will be helpful to do exception handling in case of connectors. Okay. Now let's go to connector rule. Sorry. You can write it to text file also if you want. This is logging is text file only, right? Huh? Yeah, OOTP is already available. If you want to write into your own text files, you have to use a method called connect file. Connect file rule is going to create a new file on the server path, whatever the path you pass, it will write the content whatever you pass. Writing into your own documents, separate documents, not log documents, separate documents. If you want to do right, you have to use a method called connect file and create a document, text document, and write it into your own text files. But generally we don't do, we'll write into log files. Okay, now see in the connector rule, there is a tab available called false tab. In the false tab, you can call some of the properties here. SOAP envelope content target property, fault message fields, fault code property, reason property, detail property. If I have given, let's say, property 1, property 2, property 3, and here property 4. Let me read about all these properties. Let me go to get help. So what is the tab here? False tab, right? If you go to false tab, look at here. Each of these I am not going to write down in the document because it is clearly mentioned in the help content. See, if I have given a property here, fault code, all these properties are again optional. See, select or enter the name of a single value property where it is going to hold the fault code written in the response. As a response, whatever the fault code you get, there will be some fault codes. The fault code will be assigned to this property. In the log messages, I can give hardcoded text, I can pass properties also, right? If I give dot property 1 plus property 2 plus property 3 plus property 4, all properties, values which are being held will be written into log files. Now code will be written into log files. Another method is, another property is property to a reason property. See, here also the fault reason string holds an explanation about the fault code. Fault code is, let's say 1, 2, 3. There should be an explanation about the code, right? This is failing for so and so reason. That explanation and all you are not required, right? That whatever it is retrieved will be assigned to property 2. And property 3, here again, this is detail property. So this is going to write down the detailed fault string. Means one property is going to hold some string information, little information about the fault code and fault code abbreviation and fault code detail, something like that. Code is 1, 2, 3, abbreviation is something, and detailed reason about that fault will be assigned to this property. How I can make use of these properties? I can make use of these properties writing here in the activity while calling connect soap. Where is activity? While calling connect soap, here if I write log message, here I can write down dot property 1 plus property 2 plus property 3. If I write like this, all the values related to these properties will be written into the log files. You can give spaces and all accordingly. Okay. So if you can give /n, it is going to write down in the new line, something like that. Okay, not in double quote, something like this. Okay, now here you go. Can you hold it in a correspondence and write down the correspondence message into HTML? You can do that also if you want to write. Okay, now see, if you go and see target property, select a property here. Again, it is a single value property. To create a new property and okay, no. So here, fault message, there will be some other parameter called fault message. In the SOAP envelope content, you will have a message. SOAP envelope means when you receive a response, there will be a SOAP envelope, right? Your root element, child elements. Apart from this, topmost some default elements will be there in SOAP. This is the envelope. There you may have some messages. That message and all, you are not required to parse and read it. The technique is provided by default internally, and that messages will come to and being assigned to target property, what you choose in your connect soap rule under false have as a target property. Where is it? This one. So this is going to hold fault code. It is something like a reason, like an abbreviation of fault code. Detailed fault reason will be assigned to this property, and this is going to hold soap envelope content. Envelope means in a soap you have root elements, child elements. Apart from that, top you see soap envelope. Okay, that content will be assigned to this one. Apart from these properties, this you can make use of these properties in exception handling. Can you verify this code at runtime? What is the property value? Property 1. This is the code. Then I want to log something. I want to reroute to something else, somewhere else, something like that. You can decide. And service. If you come back to service tab, scroll down. Again, do you have a property here? Status message property. Do you have a property here? Status value property. What are these properties about? Status of what? Status of? See, this is service tab, right? So here you go. What is that section? See here. PY status value, PY status message. These are related to what? One second, hang on. These are related to method. If you use any method, step status will fail. If you want to identify step status, what is the OOTP when rule for fail condition? Step status fail. Look at here. If I open this when rule, there should be a property, right? So the property here is, I will copy this to notepad. There's a function internally. See, what is that property? PX method status property. Means every method that you are calling, it will have a status. Okay, look at here. So now coming back to this one. See, specify single value property which holds status code that a connect method soap method returns. Means your connect soap method will either fail or not, right? For that also you have a status, that is PX method status. And here that is being, generally we use a property called PY status value. Look at here. Here the property, where is this? You can use this property. What is the property? So look at here. So when you generate a connector rule with the accelerator and all, the field is set to standard property, PY status value. But I believe it is not setting for us, right? We generated it using connector accelerator only, right? Connector and method at the wizard, right? But it has not given PY status value. But generally you can assign this property. This property will now hold which value? Method status. PX method status property is there. That value will be assigned to this property. Similarly, status message means PY status message, one property is there. Look at here. PY status message means error, the status of the method code plus the description of that. Everything will be assigned to these two properties. Can I make use of these properties if I want to log into log files? So like this, these properties will be useful during the exception handling mechanism when you implement during logging and all. You can use in case of connectors. This is clear. So purpose of false tab in case of connector is to assign some properties where these properties can hold what is that? Fault code detail reason, fault code detail reason, and soap envelope content by target property. All this. Other than this, within the request tab itself, you have, within the service tab itself, you have status, method status property and method status description property, message property. This and all you can go ahead and use. Invocation exception property is also there. There is another property called invocation exception. See, Java level exceptions will be there, right? Internally, if it fails somewhere during the processing. Suppose you are doing assignment, parsing and all, something like that. Java level exception may happen internally, right? That exception message, if you want to capture into a property, here you have to do invocation exception. That message will be assigned to this property. The Java level object message also will be assigned to this property, which you want to log, you can log into log files. This is clear? So that when you do tracing the issue and all in the log files and all, if you want to see, you will get all exception details which you have logged using these properties which I have mentioned here. This is clear, everyone? Like this, exception handling can be done by using exception handling flow and by using activity at the jump step. Let's say I'm calling a connect soap rule or any connector rule using activity by using a method where I have defined exception handling at the jump, plus I have also called connection problem flow. Both are there. Then how the system behaves is, default design of Pega is, your priority will always go to activity level. Means if you have exception handling being implemented at on exception jump to latest step label at jump step of an activity, plus connection problem flow is also called, connection problem flow will be ignored. It is going to ignore connection problem flow and execute jump step only. Jump step will take the priority. This is clear. That is how PRPC is designed. This will be asked in interview.